Um, I'm glad that DJ and Monique called out digital transformation in healthcare because that's what it really is. For 2021, I've been doing a lot of research and reading, and I'm finding out that there's 7 key trends. When you think about digital transformation in healthcare, you will hear that telehealth, which is really a big one. But let's step back and say, why did that arise? I think out of the 7 that I want to call out was that that rise of on-demand healthcare is very important. People want patients; they wanted healthcare when they want it. Gone is scheduling that time and trying to take off from work to fit within the doctor's schedule. No, that we don't want that anymore. We're now looking for that telehealth. I want that doctor's visit to happen in my home, or that doc in the box, that virtual clinic. So that's a trend that we are seeing a lot of. And again, look for more of those things. The second one that I call it as a trend is big data in healthcare. A lot of times, we talk about data, but that is, that's the bloodline. And in my opinion, that is how healthcare can actually grow, or actually there can be challenges in that environment. That interpretation of that big data changed the game because, for the most part, it opens up new avenues for modern healthcare. That third trend, when I think of this, we're talking about VR, virtual reality. I just think about gaming. All right, but we've went away from gaming. If you think about what they have at in Las Vegas and at the Star Wars virtual reality exhibit, there are opportunities to do something similar with VR, but using that, because that's drug free, for pain reduction with patients. Okay, and also for therapeutic purposes. Not sure if team members are aware of that, but that's something that is going to take a life of its own more in 2021 than ever before. And you have organizations like Cedars-Sinai, I believe, also Bayer and Samsung teaming up to leverage some of that Samsung gear that they have, which is Wearable. Which takes me into the fourth key trend, and that's the wearable medical devices, because there's a lot of them that are out there. We all know about the blood pressure monitors. We know about the smartwatches, the ones that keep us fit. We know about the Fitbit. But what about those biosensor self-adhesive patches that you would put on your body to collect data that that the doctors would use to look at your heart rate, your temperature, looking to detect things like seizures, looking for premature baby monitoring, things like that. The other thing that was a key trend and we have to continue to think about is predictive healthcare. Okay, being able to, the hospitals want to know, from a readmission perspective, is how many or what's that probability of the patient returning to the hospital? What does that look like? How many patients are we going to need to serve at the same time? So that heads in beds, you talk about hospitality, but also in healthcare, there is that heads in beds where they want to know, do we have enough beds to service those patients that come in? Another thing I would not sure if everybody thinks about is, what about suicides and predicting, during times like this, during the pandemic, that the probability or the likelihood, different people or groups of people may look at that as an option. Okay, so again, predictive healthcare, that's going to be something that is going to be heavy in 2021. Number 6, I want to call out artificial intelligence. You think about artificial intelligence, we think about robots. You think about those chatbots, those virtual assistants. But what about using machine learning and that the deep algorithms for detecting breast cancer? They're doing things like that in Stanford or at Stanford. What about diagnosing congenital heart failure? Also, what about diabetes and that onset detection? So there's things there, and then that surveillance of flu and COVID-19 we got it right there from that perspective. Forecasting that, knowing where it is in the population. And then that last trend that I would call, I know, again, like I said, there's many more, but there were 7 that I saw that I think that are important. The last one is blockchain. And I'm going to talk about this one briefly because wouldn't it be great if we had a smart medical ecosystem? So think about that. when I say smart medical ecosystem. So you got the pharma or big pharma, you got research, you have that patient, okay, and in that patient, they have that access that they can grant who they want to have access to their information, and then that information can be sent to, because I grant that information, being the owner of that data, to the payer, and then also that payee. So I think that is something that in 2021, as a result of digital healthcare transformations, we are going to see a lot from a trend perspective.